$7.66. For a bottle of water, not a smoothie, not a cocktail, water. 1 liter of it at Terminal 1 at JFK. That same bottle, same brand, at a corner store 15 minutes away. About $2. And here's the part that should really get you. There is a rule that's supposed to stop that from happening. It's written down, it's public. It applies to that exact store, and you still paid $7.66. By the end of this, you'll know exactly who got that money and why the rule written to protect you didn't. Because this isn't a greedy cashier. It's a machine. It was built on purpose. And once you see it, you'll never walk through an airport the same way again. Quick note, these prices come from public reporting and the airport's own published rules. They vary by terminal and by day. And this is economics for fun, not financial advice. Okay, let's fly. Last time, we did the $18 stadium hot dog. Captive audience. You're sealed in a building. There's one seller, so they charge whatever the trapped version of you will pay. The airport runs the same play, but bigger and weirder. Because here, the trap isn't built by a guard at the door. It's built by federal law, 2006. The TSA rolls out the liquids rule. 3.4 ounces, everything in one little clear bag. It's a security rule. That is genuinely what it's for. But watch what it does to your wallet. They take your water at the checkpoint. They pour it out, and then 40 feet later, the exact same bottle is sitting on a shelf with a price tag on it. Same water, same brand, $8. Nobody planned it that way. But look what it created. A room full of people, already thirsty, holding boarding passes on a deadline. With nowhere else to go, the stadium has to confiscate your snacks to trap you. The airport gets that done for free, federally. So, why $8? You'd think it's because everything's expensive to run in an airport. But the water itself? Pennies. It's the same bottle they sell at the gas station. Nothing about it changed when it crossed the security line. What changed is the floor it's standing on. Here's a real one. At Indianapolis International, a food vendor's lease says, pay the airport a cut of everything you sell, or $717,000 a year. Whichever is bigger, sit with that. Whichever is bigger. If a snowstorm shuts the airport and not one passenger walks past your counter all year, you still owe $717,000. That's not rent. That's a number hanging over your head from the day you sign. So picture that vendor. They signed a 10-year lease. They owe close to $1 million before they've sold a single bottle. Now, what price do you put on the water? You don't get to be generous. You charge the most the thirstiest, latest, most trapped traveler will pay. The lease already decided it for you, and it works unbelievably well. A row of little shops at San Francisco's airport pulled in about $7,700 per square foot. That's 10 times what a normal store does, out of a space the size of your bathroom. So say it with me, it's not the water, it's the rent. So who's collecting all that? Here's the twist. Usually not the brand on the sign. Most airport food is run by a few giant operators you've never heard of. Names like HMS Host, OTG, Parodies LaGuardia. One of them wins the contract to run the food for a whole terminal. So that food court, a dozen storefronts, a dozen logos, often one company behind all of them. That famous burger place, the name is frequently just rented, slapped on the wall. You think you're choosing between competitors. You're choosing between doors in the same building, owned by the same people. Which raises an obvious question. If everyone can see this happening, how is it legal? And here's what almost nobody knows. There's a rule that says it shouldn't be. It's called street pricing. Most big US airports have one, and the idea is beautiful. You can't charge more inside the airport than that same thing costs out on the street. At JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark, the Port Authority spells it out in a public document. The cap is the street price, plus 15%. They even make the shops post a sign promising they follow it. So, how does a $2 bottle still hit $7.66? 3 loopholes. And all 3 are sitting right there in the airport's own rulebook. Number 1, size and quality. The rule literally says any difference in the size or quality of a product is a reason to charge more. So, a big fancy 1-liter bottle isn't the same as a little store brand one. Different tier. They don't compare it to the cheap stuff. They compare it to other fancy water. And the ceiling floats right up. Number 2. Somebody has to decide which outside stores even count as the comparison. And guess who writes the first draft of that list? The shop being checked. Number 3. My favorite. Somebody has to go make sure they're following the rule. And the price checks are done by the company that runs the terminal. The landlord checks the tenants in the landlord's own building. And if a shop gets caught overcharging again and again, the punishment is that they have to start charging the correct price. That's it. The worst case is being told to stop. To be fair, the rule isn't a joke. It works. It's genuinely why you paid $7 and not $20. But it's a ceiling with a ladder leaning against it. Which brings us to the one airport that just didn't play the game. Portland. Portland International has one rule for its shops. Charge what you charge in the city. Not plus 15, not plus anything. The same. A beer there runs about $4.40. The cheapest airport beer in North America, against an airport average closer to $8. Salt Lake City liked it so much they copied it. And I know what you're thinking. Sure, moolah. They must be losing a fortune. Nope. Travelers at Portland were found to spend more than travelers at the big-name airports. Turns out, when people don't feel robbed, they happily open their wallets. That's the whole thing. The $8 water isn't gravity. It isn't physics, it's a choice. And one airport made the other choice and came out ahead. So, back to that bottle. $7.66. Almost none of it is water. The water is pennies. Most of it is that guaranteed rent. Owed whether you show up or not. Then a cut to the operator, a cut to the terminal. All of it wrapped in a rule that's supposed to cap the price, with a loophole about bottle size. Checked by the landlord himself. You didn't get gouged by a cashier. You were standing at the skinny end of a very long, very well-built pipe. And you were what it was pointed at. But here's the good news. The trap has a door. An empty bottle sails right through security, totally legal. And every checkpoint has a refill station on the other side. Same water. Free. The entire $8 machine. Beaten by remembering to empty your bottle. So, tell me, what's the most you've ever paid for something at an airport? Drop it in the comments. I want the receipts. Literally. And if you want the stadium version of this exact trick, the $18 hot dog video is right on the channel. Subscribe, and I'll keep showing you where your money actually goes.